From Appleton, Wisconsin, this is the Anderson Pens Podcast.
Welcome to Anderson Pens Podcast, episode 440 for Thursday, May 19th, 2022.
This week, in addition to Lisa, we have Banter, news updates, my ink of the week, Glamour, pen pouches, index cards, giant notebooks, a contest winner, a new contest, plus a Retro 51, a Penlux, and a fleet of sailors that are coming soon. Hey, Lisa.
Hey, Eric.
What do you call an angry psychiatrist?
I don't know.
Therapist. Mrs. Anderson, so nice to have you here.
Thank you.
How long are you staying?
I leave. I'm already gone.
You're already gone? By the time this airs, you're already gone.
Yes.
Well, that was a quick trip. Has it been 6 weeks?
It's been 5.
I was going to say.
And then next time it'll be 7.
7, because, okay. So we'll count the days.
As you always should.
Always nice when you are here. You did not see the location bumper?
No.
Recently, in a Sunday brunch, I asked Brian to name 4 museums that are within 2 blocks of Anderson Pens here in Appleton.
4 museums?
4 museums. I'm going to ask you something else. I asked Brian 4 museums.
I think I can name 3 of them.
Go for it.
We have the History Museum, which we all call the Houdini Museum. There is the Trout Museum. There is the historical something around
Appleton
the corner.
Historical Museum. And the one that he missed too, the one that's in this building on the other end.
Oh, the Children's Museum.
At any rate, this week's location bumper is the Trout Museum of Art that I can't quite see, but it's
almost
right over there.
Yes.
The Trout Museum of Art hosts a wide range of exhibitions, educational programs, and events to energize the love of art in our community. The museum also hosts exciting events such as, and you're familiar with this one, Art in the Park.
Yes.
That's cool. That's once a year. You did a podcast in that park once.
We did.
Yep.
We did when we rode our bikes.
You rode the bikes?
That was fun.
Right into the camera?
Yes.
And Art in the Park I've been there once.
Actually, it used to be art in the park. Now it's art around the park.
Yeah.
It was such a mess that
was it
one year.
inside the park?
It was inside.
Oh, they do it on the streets now.
On the ground and all of that, and it got to be a bit of a mess.
I missed
And
that.
now they do all around the square, which I think is better.
Much better because it's better for walking.
Yes, and better for the actual grounds of the park itself.
Yeah. And lots of people there.
Yes.
Lots of people.
Yes.
I suppose they skipped it during COVID.
I believe so, yes.
Maybe this year they'll do it again. Do you have one of these?
I do.
This is a bee, right?
Yes.
And the reason we're holding up these Esterbrook book holder bees is that tomorrow, May 20th, is World Bee Day. And I just thought I'd bring that to everybody's attention. Yes? Surprised you with that, didn't I? World Bee Day is celebrated each year on May 20th in honor of Anton Jansa, a pioneer of beekeeping in the 1700s.
Really?
That's what, really.
So who determines all these national days or international
I
days?
do. That's
You
why
do.
I'm always announcing.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious. When I was
We're going to have to research that.
office admin, I would always send out notices like this. Hey, everybody, today is National whatever day, and like Cupcake Day or Pizza Day or
I'll tell you how
be nice
I
to your
find
office
them.
admin day.
I go to a website that is like National Day Calendar or something, and I see, because there's several on every day.
Yes.
And if I see something that's interesting, I see if they have their own website and if they're sort of legitimate.
World Bee.
World Bee Day. The purpose
Which
of
sounds
World
like bidet.
Bee Day is to, what's that? is to acknowledge the incredibly important role that bees and other pollinators play in our ecosystem.
That's very interesting.
And I thought, because we were talking about the pollinators, I would bring up, you've heard of Mow May? Mow as in M-O-W, Mow May?
Yes. Apparently this year you can even get little signs for
I've seen
your
signs,
yard so that your neighbors don't think you're just not taking care of your yard.
I didn't realize that No Mow May is an initiative to let your grass grow to help pollinators that started in the United Kingdom, and that Appleton, our own little Appleton, was the very first city in the United States to join the effort in 2020.
Really?
I did not know this.
Wow. I know Brian said apparently now a couple years ago, you could just either not mow your yard or mow your yard, and it was fine. They would not fine you if you had let your grass grow.
Because we have laws or something.
Yes. And now you can actually go and sign up for it. So he signed up for it. He did not get a sign.
Okay.
He registered as an attendee or
I think they do it in
participant.
May because that's when the pollinators are first coming out, and they need a little extra help, and the dandelions are good
they're
for them. Yeah.
all over the
and
place.
they're pretty, actually.
Yeah, no,
Dandelions.
it's great. And I think if you're not, it also gives you time to get your lawnmower ready if it's been in the garage and it needs a little tune-up.
This month, May, is also, I will mention this again, a National Bike Month.
Oh,
And
you love that.
This week is Bike to Work Week.
Okay.
And so I did bike to work.
Did you?
At 5 o'clock this morning, I rode right past this window.
Okay.
So I did do that.
Well, when Brian comes back, he will have to bike to work, and you
Tomorrow, Friday, is Bike to Work Day.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah,
People do
he
that.
should do that.
Okay.
He should do that. As you know, last Friday on YouTube, we posted Brian's top 5 Sky's the Limit pens.
Which I epically failed at guessing. Yes.
No, we don't do that till Sunday. So
I know, but still. It concerns me that I don't know all of his
that
Sky's
should
the
be
Limit.
a concern.
It
We'll
is,
talk
yes.
about that a little later when we talk about the
Absolutely.
contest for last week. This coming Sunday, last Sunday was AP Sunday Brunch Menu 7, where Brian showed us how to disassemble piston converters and how to not disassemble some that don't want to be disassembled.
Yes.
This Sunday, you're going to do Sunday Brunch with
No
me.
way.
And we're going to talk about whether or not you need expensive paper to use with fountain pens.
Great.
I have no
I'm
idea what we're
looking
going to say,
forward to
but I'm
that.
looking forward to it too. And I just want to mention, because it's so large this month, that Friday, May 27th, is this month's vintage mailer. I believe that's a week from tomorrow. And it's big and it's heavy on Esterbrook.
Can I
You can
make
do
a
anything.
comment? I'm going to make a comment.
You have the floor.
Excellent. I just want to say thank you to our creative team because Brian tends to add more vintage in.
He added one today.
And again and again. And so the creative team works really hard all month. And then Brian keeps adding some. Oh, it's just 5 more. It's just 10 more. And so thank you to all the creative team for all that you do. And good luck.
Good luck. But yes, do sign up for the mailer because it's a big one. My ink of the week for this week was chosen by our audience.
Oh, nice.
I want to say our studio audience. Last week, it is Sailor Yurameku Kangyou. Kangyou? What do you think?
I think
What
it's
are-
green.
Well, that's the handprint, and that is something I wanted to mention.
Okay.
That I do my handprint all the time, and this one, all the red pigment in the ink stayed on my hand, and the greens came off on the paper.
Okay, so how do you do this? Because I've never seen you do it. And so if
No
I've
one
missed
has
it-
ever seen me do this, but
Oh.
I fill a syringe with the ink.
Okay.
I hold my hand over the sink, and I put the ink all over, and then I close my hand, and then I do the handprint.
Oh. You could maybe just put it in something flat and just dip your hand.
Do you
in
know
it.
how much ink I need for that? Because I tried that with a sample. It doesn't go very far.
Okay. All right.
I mean, but if you want to give me a bottle for my handprint,
Okay.
at any rate, it is
Wow.
lovely.
Okay.
You can't. This is not the color of the ink, though. The green.
No,
it
that's
has a lot of green in it.
very
It has
interesting.
all the red that was on my hand. They call it a dusty shade of purple, inspired by, of course, the cold dawn sky. Do you see any purplish in there in that little swab on the Hobonichi?
I do see some purple.
I do, too.
Absolutely. It reminds me a lot of Ink Studio 123.
This is a creamy colored paper, and
Yes.
this is a Nemusine sheet, also creamy. I think you see the most dusty purple on white, which is Rhodia here.
Yes.
It is quite beautiful. If you just glance at it, I believe I wrote this down. If I just glance at it, I think it's gray. But if I look at it,
It's
you can see
definitely.
depths in the color.
Yes.
And it's certainly, just from my handprint, and
That's
I guarantee
crazy.
you, my hand was red and the paper was green.
That's
There's
crazy.
lots of color in this ink.
Okay.
They say that it changes depending on the paper and time, so we'll give it more time.
Okay.
No show through.
Great.
It's very, very nice to use on thin paper. Good flow, no feathering. Because it left all the red on my hand, it was hard to clean up from my hand. Because red, for some reason, likes to stick to your skin. So I'm going to say it was a 9 for.
With 10 being
10
the
being the
hardest,
hardest.
with 10 permanently staining your hand?
permanently.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Don't do Bay State Blue.
No. It is available in a 20 ml bottle,
Those
a
are
little
cute.
ice cube bottle. And I believe we have these sampled. So 3 milliliter samples. As I mentioned, this was chosen by the audience. And I'm going to do 2 more in the next weeks. This got the most votes, and I'll do the 2 second to the most votes because they were tied. I forget what they are at the moment, but they'll be interesting.
They'll be pretty.
They'll be interesting.
Awesome.
Why were the fish's grades bad? They were below sea level.
Mrs. Anderson,
Mr. Roscoe.
something came in. We have talked about it, not you and I, but it has been mentioned on the podcast previously, but now it's actually here.
Okay.
I'm holding the one that you claimed for yourself.
That is my pen.
This is your pen. This is a ystudio Glamour Evolve-Bihex, and it's a rollerball.
Yes.
You have 2 over there.
I do. I have the Absinthe, which is a great color, and the Marsala.
May I see the absinthe?
No.
Please. Because this one flew out the door.
Yes.
And this is the second shipment, actually.
Although this is a gorgeous color too.
This is blue gin, they call it?
blue gin.
Blue gin. But this one was very popular, and I
Yes.
can see why it was.
I like the colors. They're soft. They're still vibrant enough that they're not pale and pastel, but they're not in your
And
face.
they're kind of heavy.
They've got some nice weight to
They're
them.
not too heavy.
No, I really like them.
I think they're a little thin for me on the section.
A little bit, but I think that the body makes up for it. They do not post, which for me was a little bit of a hesitation.
For me, that's perfect.
But it's got a nice weight, and I just really like the look. The clip has a little hinge. I just like it. It's different. It's so rare these days for a lot of companies to come out with anything that's truly different. So I like
Well, they've
them.
done a nice job.
They have.
And this is your pen.
Yes, so thank you.
And why did you choose that one?
I like the blue. It's
like the
sort of
blue.
like AP blue.
I want this end on the blue. Can we just
No.
switch that?
No.
Anyway, these are here.
These are great.
And these are fantastic. And Bihex, you know, they have the hex on the barrel and they have the hex on the cap, which means, of course, they're bihexual. Right?
It
Makes them more
means
popular,
that
huh?
they are
Look, I'm blushing at
hexagonal,
that. I'm blushing.
and then they are hexagonal again. So you've got 6 wider stripes and 6 narrower stripes. And just
Yeah.
like with my husband, I'm just going to ignore you.
Very good. The scalene double hexagon design means that the 12 faceted sides alternate between wide and narrow strips.
And where have you used the word scalene before?
I have used it in a podcast 2 weeks ago.
Okay, but before then,
Wasn't it a triangle?
yes.
Yeah, scalene,
Algebra
right,
class, yeah.
Geometry, something like that.
Something.
The packaging is worth noting.
The packaging is great. When we first got the ystudio, I will freely admit that I complained a lot to Brian because all the boxes looked alike, and the packaging, it had all of the this plastic, and it was really hard to get the pens in and out, and it would tear. And this is great because there is no question which this is.
Right, you can just glance at it, and I know
Yes.
I've got a blue gin.
Yes. So
You
this-
must have the absinthe.
Yes.
And that must be the Marsala over there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is really great. I like that it's minimal packaging. It's not a lot of extra
Studio
waste.
does nice packaging. It's,
Yes.
it's rare that I say, look at the packaging, but this one had to be shown.
We have a thing about boxes. We like boxes.
I like boxes. I like notebooks.
Okay.
But let's continue with ystudio
Let's
for a
do.
minute because you've got some single pen pouches. I have a blue one.
I have the red, the caramel, the gray.
And in this box, packaging again, is the black one.
I do like these. They have the little, what would you call this?
The decorative piece here, the medallion. We
yes.
will call this the decorative medallion.
I like the flap over,
and it has the little holdy thingy there.
the holdy thingy.
The holdy
Is that
thingy.
the official?
The flap holdy thingy. Didn't Gary have one of these in Chicago?
He did, and in fact, I sold 2 before we were even before they were even available when he was in the store. I sold
and
2 pen pouches and
He was
a roller
actually
ball.
using one, though. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are great.
I like that this holdy thingy keeps your pen secure in there.
Holdy
thingy. I cannot tell this is synthetic leather.
No, it's nice.
It's very nice synthetic leather, if it's synthetic.
It's a good size. It's not big. It doesn't pretend to want to hold your, Namiki Emperor.
No, but
it's not going to hold a Montblanc 149 or a Sailor King of Pen.
146 would fit in here, though.
Yeah, probably. But pretty colors. I like that they're not overly bold.
I think I like this blue one.
They're subtle.
Is this blue or black? What color is that?
It's navy blue.
Navy blue. I like it so much I can't even tell what color it is.
There you go.
My favorite pen carrying system is a single pen whatever. I like my pens to be separate.
They don't play nicely
They
with
don't
each
play
other?
nicely with each other. I don't want them touching. Just like the
Antisocial.
food on my
Okay.
plate. So these are
These are nice.
we had talked about them like a month ago,
Okay.
saying they were coming soon, and soon has arrived, and here they are.
Soon has arrived. Nice.
Something I was so excited about, I bought immediately.
I saw that.
Because
I
have
see
wanted
the
these.
sales
I
both
know, you see
online
that.
and in the store.
I'm surprised you didn't call me, because usually I buy something and she calls me right away.
What did you get?
I like index cards, and I like the Exacompta cards, index cards that we've
Yes.
always had, but they come in colors, and it's like a multicolored
Only
pack.
thing available for years and years was the assorted color.
Right,
Pink,
which-
green, blue, and
yellow.
yellow.
Which was okay.
Yeah.
If you wanted a quality index card. Speaking of high quality paper again,
Yes,
these really
but-
work nicely with fountain pens. But now, what have we got?
White.
White
Yeah,
index
white.
cards.
So
Exacompta.
excited.
Not just white. We have blank, which I purchased, lined and graph.
Yes.
So this is something for everybody.
And these are actually cheaper
I was going to say they're $4.
than the colored ones.
$4, and you get 100, and it's great paper. And who doesn't use it? Index cards come in handy for everything.
Yes.
Everything. So
I
I just wanted everyone to know about that. Because
now
I
that you
bought
got
it.
yours,
I got mine.
you don't care.
You can get yours.
Okay.
Speaking of something else that I purchased as soon as it came in,
Did you ever decide what you were doing with yours?
I think we should probably tell them what we're talking about.
Okay.
This small little notebook. This is the Loic Term Master Classic A4 Plus. I still have mine. I asked the audience for suggestions.
Right.
I have not started anything yet. I think it's going to be, I don't know. But
You don't know.
don't know.
Okay.
But that's not the point. The point is we have we had dot grid, graph, and lined. And what do we get now? Blank. We've got blank.
Okay.
Blank comes in handy.
Do you want to swap yours for blank, or have you written in it?
If I want a blank one, I'll just buy it.
Okay.
Because you can never have too many notebooks.
Yes, you can.
You cannot have, no,
Yes, you can.
never.
I have too many notebooks. I still want to know what was the perhaps winning idea for what you're going to do with your.
A commonplace notebook where you just take notes throughout the day, quotes, and
Okay.
and make notes. And so when you fill it up, you've got a treasure trove of information that
Okay.
meant something to you at some point in your life.
Have you heard about the corduroy pillow? It's making headlines.
Lisa,
Yes, dear.
you weren't here last week when we had the contest.
Correct.
That I'm going to remind everyone. The question last week for this contest was, what ratio of vintage versus modern is your pen collection?
Okay.
Which I thought was going to be very interesting, and it is very interesting.
And what is yours?
Mine is 40/60,
40 which way?
40 vintage.
Okay. Because you only have 10 pens?
I only have 12 pens. We'll get to that in a minute. 38% of respondents said it was 100% modern.
Really?
So 40% of the audience does only modern,
Okay.
which means 0% of the audience, well, it doesn't mean zero, but 0 people said all vintage.
Okay.
Which I guess doesn't surprise me, but it could have been possible.
Well, the people who are 100% vintage may not be
Oh, we have.
tech involved enough to get into podcasts.
What are you saying?
Just saying.
15%
Some
of people.
people are just old school all the way.
True. 15% of people said that they had less than 20% vintage, but they had some vintage. 25% said they were between 20 and 30. 22% between 30 and 60. I fell in there.
22%.
22% of the respondents said they had 30 to 60. Most interesting thing about this was, besides learning that nobody collects just vintage that responded, are some of the comments. So I have a few here.
Read them.
Go. Paul K. says, I'm struggling to find the appeal of vintage relative to modern. I imagine innovation in manufacturing processes allow modern pens to offer better reliability and writing experience. Is it the exclusivity? Would love to hear your thoughts regarding the appeal of vintage. This would be really good to have Brian here, but we have opinions too. Because when I first got into fountain pens, I swore I would only collect vintage. Because the appeal for me was that they were old and they probably had a story. They were never going to tell me the story, but I could imagine where they had been, who had owned them, what they had written. I romanticized vintage pens.
You did, absolutely.
And as I got more into fountain pens, I said, I need something a little more reliable. So I got into a modern pen, and I do find them more reliable. Innovation in manufacturing processes allow modern pens to offer better reliability. 100%. This is why I am now 60/40. I don't exclusively collect vintage, but you started with vintage.
I did, absolutely. They were, at the time, this is 1998, they were inexpensive, they were easy to find, and they were easy to fix, many of them. But I think for some people, vintage pens maybe feel complicated because we are always telling people when you go to a show, if you're thinking about a vintage pen, you have to either confirm with whoever's selling it that they themselves have restored it. And even then, that doesn't always necessarily mean it's been restored well. Or you have to assume that it needs to be restored, which means you need to send it out and spend extra money. So I think that for some people, they're afraid of that extra commitment, that extra expense.
And the unknown.
Absolutely.
And the unknown.
But there are some pens that you can only find that are vintage. A lot of things now that are modern are based on vintage pens. But
you mentioned when you buy vintage, you should ask if it's been restored. And
yes.
I did mention that in the podcast last week, that all the vintage pens, the Estabrooks that are going to be in the mailer, have been restored by Brian himself.
Yes.
And that is a big draw.
That is a big draw. He is certainly...
He knows what he's doing.
Experience.
King of Esterbrook. Lisa DeGroff. As of right now, all my pens are modern. However, the more I watch your podcast and Sunday brunches, the more I realize that my pen collection won't be complete until I get a vintage pen. Although, and this is true, I don't think I will ever say my pen collection is complete, much to my wallet's demise.
Yes.
And that got me thinking, I can never say that either. I wanted to get to a point where, okay, these are my 6 pens, and this is all I need ever. It hasn't worked for me yet.
Now, you can dip your toes into vintage without it being overly complicated. An aerometric filling Parker 51.
I use it every day.
I have one that I won. I have a pen that I won as a contest once 25 years ago that I still use regularly. There are some fillers that are easier to fill and clean than others. And so you can dip your toes into something that way. There are even modern or vintage cartridge filling pens. And so that's a easy way to get into vintage without too many complications.
Yeah, and many vintage pens are not very expensive.
No,
yeah.
No.
Rich Johnson says, I'm 100% modern. Well, I only have one pen. It's a TWSBI Diamond 580 ALR Navy.
So he is 100% modern, yes.
But I envy Rich because he only has one pen. And
you'll never get there.
I'll never get there.
You'll never get there.
Annie Ritter says, I'm at 2% vintage. It's a start. Yep, that is a start.
Okay.
Now, 2%, we don't know the total number of her collection. 2% could be 200 pens, depending on how many overall pens we have.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
How do you...
She didn't give us a number.
1 out of 50?
Yeah, there you go. Melanie Bottle says, I am 90% or higher modern to vintage, a rough estimate because a rule is don't actually add up your collection.
Yes.
Yeah, that's important, isn't it? I
yes,
don't like it
is.
when
There are sometimes some situations where ignorance is bliss.
And this is one of them.
Yes.
Don't actually know the truth. Well, Some people...
Brian started recounting.
He didn't make it. He says that almost every podcast that he didn't make it.
And I think the next time I come home, I'm going to count Brian's pens.
I don't know. Is that allowed? The winner. We have a winner from last week's $20 gift certificate credit to your Anderson Pens account. The winner is Emily Snoop, whose comment was, looking forward to seeing next week's ink. I have about 80 to 85% modern pens. Emily, please write to me, eric@andersonpens.com, and we will take care of getting that $20 credit onto your Anderson Pens account. Based on these comments, or one comment in particular, this week's contest is, do you count your pen collection?
Oh.
And this can be yes or no, or I have a ballpark figure in mind, or absolutely not, no way. I just am curious as to how many people know how many pens. I don't know off the top of my head how many pens I have. I have a ballpark. I know it's less than 100.
I thought you were 12 or less.
I have different collections. I have the Orozco permanent collection. I have the Orozco museum collection, and I have the Orozco rotating collection, which is the one that gets me in the most trouble. So for this week...
Do these have separate wings?
Yes,
of your
they have separate wings.
domicile?
Do you count your pen collection? Yes, no, I have
Maybe
an idea.
so.
I wouldn't even dream of
Hell
it.
no.
Hell no. Comment below in the comment section, and we'll pick a random winner for next week for a $20 gift certificate to Anderson Pen. Just this past Tuesday, 2 days ago, a new pen was announced to the world. It is the Retro 51 P47 Thunderbolt. We do not have it in our hands right now, but it is coming soon, perhaps by the time you see this, perhaps tomorrow. It is at the website. You can sign up for back in stock notifications. Lisa's going to tell you all about it because you put those words on the website. Go for it. Justin's going to show pictures.
All right. So the rollerball is designed after the most popular World War II U.S. fighter plane, the P-47. P-57?
It's the P-47.
Okay.
You were right.
The plane's rugged construction allowed it to withstand battle damage and still remain airworthy. I think that's important. The Retro 51 P-47 Thunderbolt, it's part of the Vintage Metalsmith series. The pen has acid-etched rivets and paneling on the barrel, which is really cool. Painted with a striking red, yellow, and green color scheme. The pen also sports nose art of the 352nd Fighter Group's P-47 and is finished with antique silver trim and a checkered finial.
Coming soon. It might already be here.
Cool.
Might already be here.
Excellent.
And they have more stuff coming.
Yes.
This Retro 51.
You know, this is the first time that they have been
so forthcoming?
so forthcoming.
I should mention that the P-47 is not a one-off.
It is part of the
It's
regular
going to be here for quite some time.
lineup.
Yeah. And they sent us a list. We'll have to... I didn't want to hit you with it all at once. And none of them are available today.
Right.
Also, Sailor. Pro Gear Manyo limited edition pens, which are pretty cool.
They are very pretty
cool.
and in a gift set. I like the gift set
that
idea.
comes with a bottle of ink. I have Pro Gear here. Are they Pro Gear or Pro Gear Slim? I think they're Pro Gear.
They are slim because they have 14 karat.
They are slim because they have 14 karat. We don't have them in our hands just yet.
We do not.
They're coming soon. Justin will take care of showing you pictures because there are 5 of them. They're all different. The companion pens to the much-loved Manyo inks are coming soon. Each pen in the special edition collection was inspired by 2 Manyo inks, resulting in exciting new color combinations with exclusive top finial designs. Celebrate late winter blooms with willow and plum, early spring flowers with dianthus and cherry blossom, and enjoy the soft autumn colors of nuts. These pens are sold as a set and will arrive with a 50 milliliter bottle of matching Manyo ink.
This is really a cool concept.
Yes, Sailor Manyo fountain pens are available in 14 karat gold or 14 karat gold with rhodium plating in fine, medium fine, and medium. I had to make a list here of the colors.
Yes.
Because they say one of them is called a Manyo plum, and they say it's a teal body cap and section with a plummy red finials.
Yes.
The Manyo dianthus is a purple body and cap with a section and finials in smoke gray. The Manyo willow has pale lavender barrel and cap with a section and finials in teal green. Manyo nuts, light brown barrel and cap with section and finials in golden yellow. And the Manyo cherry blossom, pale pink barrel, cap section with deep blue finials. Probably my favorite.
Yes, and so each part of it was
represents
inspired.
an ink.
Yes.
There's 2 inks per pen.
But when I was working on these, they didn't necessarily follow the same design. Some of them have the finial and the section that are the same color.
Sometimes
have
the section matches
barrel
the barrel,
cap.
and sometimes the section matches the finials. The jewel at the top of the cap, there's something special for each one of these.
Yes. These are really cool.
They put
very
some thought into
creative.
these. They put
Absolutely.
some thought. And, you know, I am very fond of Manyo inks. And so I'll probably be very fond of these pens as well.
And they each come with a
50
one of the
milliliter
I can't talk. One of the full-size Manyo inks.
Yep, coming soon. So they come in a set.
Yes. Just like the
it's a box
seasonal
set. Yeah.
festival. So just really a great concept.
Yeah, I like Manyo things. I probably like these pens.
Probably.
Penlux has got something. It's
They
a
do.
Masterpiece Grande in Black Wave. What do you know about it?
I know that it is a deep black resin body and cap that has kind of a swirling, shimmery silver, accented with silver trim. The oversized body has the piston filling system. Really, really a good value and a very generous pen in the hand. The Yovo stainless steel nib options are fine, medium, broad, a 1.1 stub, and a new stainless steel flex nib. And then 14 karat flex or 18 karat fine or medium nibs are available by special order.
That I actually had to call Brian on that because I saw that a steel flex nib was available. You can sign up for back in stock notifications. One of the nib options is a steel flex at no extra charge. And I said, well, that's not available on the other one. So let me call Brian. And he said, yeah, they're making a flex nib in steel now.
They are. They've
Previously,
changed it up.
we could only get the flex if you ordered the 14 karat gold. But now you can get it with a steel flex nib.
Very interesting.
And
Really
I
stepping
believe
up their
I
game.
think I have probably 2 of those.
Okay.
Not Penlux, but Yovo flexi nibs. And they flex up. They're not. Nothing is vintage.
Nothing's
flex,
a vintage Waterman.
They are flexible.
noodle.
They do a fine job of being as flexible as anybody really needs, unless you're an artist and need the vintage. That's all I have. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. You want to start us off with that?
I do.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us. Tune in next time for my talk about pens, ink, and paper.
You can check us out on social media as Anderson Pens, and I understand there's a store in Chicago. Can you tell me anything about it?
Well, there was when I left. I'm not
true.
sure.
Brian's been in charge for a while.
Last time I came back to Appleton, Brian burned up my ultrasonic.
Yeah, and sometimes he burns up the car. Yeah. We don't know what's going on this time.
I'm not sure that it's safe to leave him alone.
But you're going to do it
There is
anyway.
a store on the ground floor of the Palmer House Hilton, and we are open 7 days a week.
Do you have a website?
We do. It is chicago.andersonpens.com.
Fantastic. Please like this video and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. And I will see you next week. You won't be here.
I want to.
Bye.
Bye.